Mafia the Old Country attempts to revitalize what made the Mafia series so engaging after the not so well received Mafia 3. Usually I have opinions, but today I only have benchmarks. I'm still at the very beginning of my playthrough because I was more interested in testing the technology. A mini review will have to wait. With that out of the way, let's get to the results. The game uses Epic's Unreal Engine 5, and many recently tested titles with this technology ran without issues on Linux. Mafia the Old Country was no exception. I simply downloaded the game via Steam and pressed the play button, just like on Windows. I tested on my AMD Ryzen 7800 X3D with 32GB of DDR5 6000 MT/s memory and an AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. Windows 11 was on version 24H2. My Linux installation was Bazzite 42 with KDE Plasma running kernel version 6.15.9. I skipped 4K this time and performed all tests at 1440p to save time. Also, this game is already pretty heavy without upscaling. However, you can derive the rough performance based on the results at native resolution. You should get similar numbers at 4K with quality level upscaling. I ran every benchmark pass twice in one go instead of performing separate runs and averaging the numbers. Only twice because I tested all presets like an idiot. I mean a thorough enthusiast. My testing location was the Don Torrisi estate very early in the game. It was the first time I was able to walk around and explore the area. The estate is packed with details and people, and walking around renders many far vistas beyond the walls of the premises. The results were shocking, and I had to double check all the data by rerunning the benchmarks. Using the default presets, which apply different levels of upscaling using Unreal's TSR, Windows 11 gave Linux a big fat middle finger. The lowest preset, which uses TSR performance upscaling, Windows was almost 20 FPS ahead across the board. At medium quality, which uses TSR balanced upscaling, the difference came closer to 30 FPS on average. The 1% low stayed at roughly 20 FPS. Going to high quality with TSR quality upscaling brought the difference below 20 FPS on average and to almost 10 FPS in the 1% lows. Only at the highest Epic preset was the difference in the single digits. This preset does not enforce upscaling, it always renders at the native resolution. When manually forcing native 1440p rendering for all the presets, the difference shrank to a more reasonable amount, aligning more closely with my recent benchmarks. Windows 11 was roughly 10 FPS ahead on average, and the 1% lows were in the realm of run-to-run variance. The only outlier was the medium preset, which ran away in the average FPS department, just like with upscaling. These results highlight what I already suspected in Doom the Dark Ages. The higher the load on the GPU, the closer the benchmark numbers. As soon as the CPU comes more into play, like when using lower quality presets together with heavy upscaling, Windows 11 can stretch its legs. The Mango Hut statistics confirm this suspicion. At the default medium quality preset, the GPU utilization often drops below 90%, as you can see in this footage. Please note that my results are only representative of AMD GPUs. Using an NVIDIA graphics card might produce wildly different numbers. Based on these benchmarks, it's clear that it's much easier to run this game at the native resolution on Windows because of its higher base performance throughput. And I do recommend that if you have the horsepower. The image becomes a lot more stable. Proton still seems to eat enough performance to prevent equality in all situations. A Ryzen 7 7800 X3D cannot power past this. And if you employ a bit of upscaling, like TSR quality on the high preset, you can get a much smoother experience on Windows 11. TSR works very well in this game and edges out XeSS and FSR. Even FSR4 is not the perfect solution, but that might be a topic for a different video. TSR even supports a quality high option for slightly better performance at not quite native resolution compared to quality upscaling. I like that this option exists. Thank you for watching.